All right, good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting of the Sterling Heights City Council to order. If you would, please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for our invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear God, please bless our elected officials. Grant them courage and wisdom to do what is right for all citizens.
Amen. Ms. Riska, can we please have the roll call?
Mayor Taylor?
Here.
Mrs. Rasky?
Here.
Mrs. Koski?
Present.
Mr. Radke?
Present.
Mrs. Schmidt?
Present.
Mrs. Yanis?
Here.
Mrs. Yarko?
Present.
Thank you, Council. We need approval of the agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Mrs. Koski.
move to approve the agenda. Support.
It's been moved and supported. No discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. First item on our agenda is a report from our city manager, Mark Vanderpool. Mr. Vanderpool.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to begin with a couple of housekeeping items. First, we will have our second budget hearing on April 25th, so a week from tomorrow, for those of you who are interested in following our budget process. And then also the May 2nd regular city council meetings being moved to May 1st due to the local school board election, so please take note of that. And also, I've provided some updates on this, but I want to remind everyone once again with the spring season upon us that our street sweeping program will commence soon, and we'll be into neighborhoods, and we typically start sweeping in April, May, depending on weather, and then throughout the rest of the year, right through December, again, depending on weather there as well. So we not only sweep neighborhood roads, but we also sweep our major roads as well through intergovernmental agreements with the county. And also, I have mentioned before the ongoing DPW cleanup days. They've been really successful. I'll summarize the one we just had last Saturday in a minute, but coming up on April 22nd is the Sterling Heights Shred Day, so please take note of that from 9 to 2 at our DPW building. And then on April 29th is the Electronic Recycling Day, again from 9 a.m. to 2 at DPW. And then after that, in May, we'll have our Cleanup Saturday event. So essentially, we'll have dumpsters available, and you can dump yard debris and other items from your home, that furniture and lumber and the like, in our dumpsters on May 13th. Which is also a Saturday, and then May 20th, and here again from 9 to 2. So wanted to make sure everyone's aware of those events. And if I could just draw your attention to the screen, I wanted to highlight our Hazardous Waste Day this past Saturday. For those of you who participated, you know it was incredibly successful because you waited in line for quite some time. But here are some pictures, and I'm hoping I'm going to be able to show them. So you can see the cars all queued up here. This was down our DPW drive, and then also they were lined up down 18 Mile Road, and it's actually quite a spectacle to see, and the amount of waste that's eliminated is quite significant. We had over 1,000 vehicles that went through this past Saturday. We had 50 pallets of hazardous material that were collected, which filled up 3 semi-trailers and 2 20-yard roll-off dumpsters full of paint. So you can imagine, not only is this program successful in getting this material out of our homes, but keeping it out of the landfills as well, which is so critically important. So I wanted to thank the mayor and council for continuing to fund and support these cleanup days. They're incredibly important pursuant to our sustainability plan, and they really help keep the community clean. And that's a segue into another event we have coming up, and this one is our Shine Cleanup Day. Again, the Shine acronym stands for the Sterling Heights Initiative for Neighborhood Excellence. Every year we have our volunteer corps clean up homes in the spring and fall. And these are homes where residents are just not able to attend to the outdoor activities like raking, trimming bushes, painting sheds, and mowing grass, and so on and so forth. So our volunteer corps comes out and helps them, and our spring event will be May 6th. It'll start at 9:30 a.m. at First Church. We typically wrap up around 1 o'clock or so. We're always looking for volunteers, so please go to our website, or you can contact Community Relations at 446-CITY. If you can help out for even an hour, it's helpful, but 2 or 3 hours would be greatly appreciated. So again, that's May 6th. So we have a lot going on in the spring to really help clean up the city and make sure that our neighborhoods shine. That's what it's all about. And for selfish reasons, from a city perspective, this helps keep our property values strong, our neighborhoods aesthetically pleasing, and so it's really wonderful events. And speaking of our sustainability plan, our mayor and city council held a press conference just before the meeting to unveil our new Think Sterling Green program and our Go Green grants. This is a really super exciting program, again, consistent with our Visioning 2030 plan and consistent with our sustainability plan. We're one of the first cities that's rolling out this program. And with us this evening is Todd Parker. He's a programming director with the Michigan Saves program. We've partnered with Michigan Saves to administer this program for us. What the beauty of the program is, it's going to be it is turnkey. You only have to go to our website portal to sign up for this and have the exciting work done at a very low cost, which we're now going to talk about. And so, Mayor, I'd like to introduce Todd Parker.
Thank you very much, Council, for having me tonight and being able to speak with you about the program. And let me again thank the Council for developing and designing the Go Green Grants program. As the city manager said, we believe it's the first program in the state to use ARPA money, ARPA funds, and invest those funds in the homes of residents throughout the city. What really makes this program unique is that it provides funding for everybody in the community, or at least everyone is eligible for funding in the community. The city has $1 million to spend on energy efficiency, renewable energy improvements, and we've worked with the city staff to design a program that allows anyone in the city to apply for and potentially get funds. There are 2 levels of incentives in the program. The first is an income qualified level, where residents could get up to $7,500 in energy efficiency or renewable energy improvements at no cost to them. So if they need to upgrade their furnace, their AC, their water heater, maybe do windows, doors, insulation, air sealing, or solar panels, they have an opportunity to get up to $7,500 at no cost. For residents that don't qualify on income, then they're eligible to get a 20% incentive, not to exceed $5,000 for the same set of qualifying energy efficiency improvements. And then both those levels are tied together with low interest financing from Michigan Saves. So if they want to do a more extensive project that exceeds what they can get in the incentives, Michigan Saves financing is available to help them finance that. The program is going to launch on May 1st. Because funds are limited, we do have an online application process that customers will have to apply for the funds in order to reserve them so we don't overcommit the funds to customers. As part of that process, it will be first come, first serve, and customers will need to work with the Michigan Saves authorized contractor in order to get their quotes and bids for that work. Michigan Saves has a network of authorized contractors that are vetted that allows the customers to some assurances that they're going to get high quality work and professional work done in their homes. We're very excited to work with the city on this program, the city staff. We think it's going to be very popular and very effective, and we're excited to get started on the 1st. So thank you very much.
And Mayor, just to reiterate, so residents that are interested in installing solar panels, upgrading their HVAC to more energy efficient units and the like, there's many qualifying energy improvements you can make. This program will, in many cases, entirely funded or substantially funded. At the very least, residents will be able to participate in low-interest loans that do not have to be collateralized at a very reasonable rate. So we really appreciate the partnership with Michigan Saves that the City Council approved a couple of months ago. We've been hard at work on this program for about 6 months now, and we really do think it'll be best in class in the state of Michigan. What I'm really proud of with this program, Mayor, is you and the City Council challenged administration when we received the ARPA money of almost $20 million, and ARPA stands for American Recovery Plan Act. We received almost $20 million, and the directive from the City Council was do whatever we can to leverage additional money with that 20 million. If we can turn 20 million into 40 million, all the better. So with this program, we turned $1 million into over $2.5 million. So we're on a good course here, leveraging as many resources as possible. So we're super excited about the program. And I don't know if you can see on the TV screen for the viewing audience, but the Rain Barrel program is also an important component of this, where residents can get a free rain barrel, and including the installation kit. It's really simple to install, but if you choose to have installation, it's only $50 to actually have the contractor come out and install the rain barrel. So there are no income qualifications for that. It's just a straight out grant, if you will, of the rain barrel to any resident in Sterling Heights. So look forward to continuing to promote the program, all under our banner of sustainability. And we have many other programs under our sustainability plan for those who are interested. And Mayor, I believe that concludes my report this evening. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Vanderpool. Thank you, Todd from Michigan Saves. We appreciate the presentation tonight and being with us earlier today as well. An exciting program. So I'll just reiterate what I said to people out there watching. Tell your neighbors about it. Tell your friends that there's some money that we can put to good use and help, lower your utility bills and get some new high-efficiency equipment in your house.
Mayor Taylor,
Mrs. Schmidt.
forgive me, could I ask Mr. Parker one question?
Sure thing.
Mr. Parker, you spoke about having bids for work.
Yep.
Does a resident need that bid before they put their application in, or is that
Yes.
the process after?
So we would love customers to come with a quote before they submit the reservation request. That way, we know they're ready to go, and we're not reserving funds for months on end for folks that haven't quite made up their mind. So we would encourage them to get their bids from their authorized contractors first, and then go to the online app, which is going to be available through the city's website, and submit the reservation request.
And you have a list of the authorized contractors?
There will be a link there. It's the normal Michigan Saves authorized contractor list. There'll be a link within the city's webpage where they can find contractors in the area to do that work.
Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Schmidt. All right, with that, we will move on to the next item on our agenda, which is the consent agenda. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak on any item on the consent agenda? Yes, ma'am.
So on behalf of the Armenian community in Sterling Heights, thank you, Honorable Mayor and City Council members, for issuing the proclamation to mark April 24th as Armenian Genocide Remembrance Day in Sterling Heights. And by doing so, honoring the memory of 1.5 million Armenian victims who perished during the Armenian Genocide that was waged by the government of the Ottoman Empire, and the Armenians living in your city that are descendants of the survivors of the crime against humanity. Unfortunately, the Armenian people's struggle for survival is still ongoing. It has been more than 4 months that Armenians in Artsakh are under complete blockade. Azerbaijan is blocking the only road that connects Artsakh to Armenia and the rest of the world, stripping Armenians of freedom of movement and transport of goods. This dire humanitarian crisis is worsening every day because of shortage of food and life-saving medication. After 108 years from 1915 genocide, 120,000 Armenians of Artsakh are facing yet another ethnic cleansing campaign by Azerbaijan, backed by Turkey. Unless the perpetrators are brought to justice, the cycle of genocide will not end. It is crucial that we talk about human rights violations and protect the right of people to live freely on their ancestral land to prevent future genocides. We want to thank the City of Sterling Heights for standing by the Armenian community in Sterling Heights and Michigan and around the world. in solidarity to end the cycle of genocide. And really appreciate your time in doing so. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments and for being here. Appreciate it. Anyone else on the consent agenda? If not, council, we need a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Mrs. Koski.
move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
It's been moved and supported with no discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda tonight is a consideration item, and this is to consider approval of the fiscal year 2023-2024 Community Development Block Grant one-year action plan. We have a presentation from our HUD program coordinator, Sydney Aller. Ms. Aller.
Good evening, Mayor, City Manager, and council members. My name is Sydney Aller, and I'm pleased to be able to present to you the 2023-2024 Community Development Block Grant Annual Action Plan. So the objective of CDBG is the development of viable communities by the provision of decent housing, a suitable living environment, and expanding economic opportunities principally for persons of low to moderate income. When determining if an activity is eligible under this program, it must meet one of the three national objectives listed on this slide. First, benefit low to moderate income persons. Second, aid in the prevention and elimination of slums and blight. And third, meet a need with a particular urgency. The graphic on the slide breaks down the objectives, further detailing the eligibility requirements the CAC has to consider when selecting projects to fund. When determining how funding is allocated, we not only have to consider if it meets a national objective and is an eligible activity, but that funding is distributed according to the HUD regulations outlined on this slide. The program allows for 20% for administrative costs, 15% for public service programs, which is allocated to nonprofit organizations and interagency programs, and 65% for public improvement projects and housing activities. HUD recently announced our allocation for this year, which is $765,446. Below is the breakdown of the allocation the CAC is recommending for your approval. The CAC is recommending $114,817 to be allocated to public services. Some of the organizations supported by these funds include Macomb Community Action Agency, Interfaith Volunteer Caregivers, and local homeless shelters. The goal is to try to grant all the organizations that submit applications funding to support our residents' varying needs. The CAC is recommending $513,000 for capital projects. Beaver Creek is located in Section 32, a qualified low to moderate income census tract, and is the only park that is eligible to service with this funding. The request is to remove and replace the asphalt parking lot that is in disrepair. The following are our housing programs, which I will discuss further on the next slide. So we have two programs. The first is our minor home repair program. It provides a $800 grant to income-eligible seniors, persons with disabilities, and owner-occupants of mobile homes to make necessary repairs. Our second program is our home and property improvement loan program. It provides a interest-deferred payment loan up to $30,000 to income-eligible applicants to assist homeowners and owner-occupants of single-family residents maintain their homes and bring them into conformance with housing quality standards. Thank you so much for your time and consideration this evening. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Thank you, Ms. Aller. If we do, we will ask them during our deliberations.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you very much. Mr. Nelson? Okay, council, we need a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Radke.
resolve to approve the fiscal year 2023-2024 Community Development Block Grant one-year action plan as recommended by the Citizens Advisory Committee and City Administration based on an entitlement of $765,446 and authorize City Administration to complete the federal application and secure the funds. Woo.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion, Mr. Radke?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to congratulate the CAC on a very good project list, I think. You know, Beaver Creek Park is a hidden gem. A couple years ago, I think we went back in there and we redid some of it, but I remember thinking that the parking lot probably was going to need a little bit of work. And this is exactly what the CAC fund should be used for, improving the entire community. I think the people who live near Beaver Creek really do appreciate that park, and it's just one more example of how we've been improving our entire park system. You know, I will brag that I think we have the best park system in the state, maybe besides Detroit, and I think that I'm very proud of it. So that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Radke. Anyone else, council?
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Yanez.
thank you. Through the chair to Ms. Saylor, thank you for your presentation. Just a couple of questions. $137,000 for administrative activity seems like a lot. Can you kind of break down what the administrative activity is?
It goes for wages, our trainings, any sort of costs for the delivery of the program, costs like that. Sometimes we don't use all of our administrative costs, and they just go back into program funding, so.
And sorry, through the chair to the city manager, who is getting wages out of this, Mr. Manager?
Mr. Vanderpool.
We have, thank you, Mayor. Councilman Yanez, we have two positions right now, but we also periodically have an internship position as well. I will make a qualifying comment on the administration of this program. As I'm sure Councilman Yanez, you can appreciate, I know others on council who have experienced the Community Development Block Grant. There are a lot of federal restrictions and strings attached to this, and it is, to say it's highly bureaucratic is probably an understatement. And every year we are audited by the Department of Housing and Urban Development for this program. And communities that don't do well on the audit risk their funding being reduced or, significantly reduced. Thankfully, we've always had the highest audit scores you could possibly get. So we're doing a good job, and that's because we have individuals like Ms. Eller who are really, really detail-oriented and spend a lot of time on this program. So it is a bit bureaucratic, but I think those administrative costs are very much in line, knowing the amount of administrative work that goes into this program.
So, since I asked who, would you say that anyone who, any employee that works at the city that has any sort of contact with this program, their wages are, that contact, those hours are taken out of the administrative activity? So it could be 3, 4, 5 different people that work for the city, correct?
Well, it depends on the extent of legal review, or it depends on the extent of administrative involvement, but Ms. Aller could probably expound on that some.
Primarily, it's just me and my boss, Teresa Jarzab,
Okay.
that the wages are coming out.
Okay, so we're paying you through this grant.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
Yes.
That's all I wanted to know. It's not a bad thing. And then the second thing I was going to ask is there an accounting for the money? And I'm going to be very specific here with Macomb Community Action. I was contacted earlier this winter by someone whose neighbor needed to get into the program for snow removal, and when I called, they said the program's closed. Do we know that all the money that goes to Macomb Community Action is going towards Sterling Heights citizens? Is there an accounting for that?
Yes. Every quarter, we get a quarterly report from each one of our nonprofit subrecipients that details every single resident that they serve from Sterling Heights with their address. And then every year, we go to each nonprofit recipient and monitor their performance and look through their program files.
And would you know why the program was closed this year?
The program was not closed, but I know that the program fills up very quickly. So they might not have had any open spots left for that particular resident. But if they are in need of a service, they're always welcome to give our office a call.
Your office?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yep, and we can get in contact with the right person at Macomb Community Action Agency.
Thank you, Ms. Heller. I appreciate your support. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Yanez. Council, anyone else? Mrs. Zarko.
I think I just want to clarify, because we all know that in order for one of these agencies to get funding, they actually have to do a presentation. It's not like we go out and find them. We let them know that these funds are available, they request a certain amount, and then a decision is made as whether they get that amount or something more or less. So I just wanted to clarify, we don't choose the agency, they choose us.
Yes.
Nothing further.
Thank you, Mrs. Zarko. Council, anyone else? Well, thank you very much, Ms. Eller. Appreciate the presentation and the information, very helpful, and glad that we're able to allocate this money through the CDBG program. So council, with no further discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Next up is communications from citizens. Is there anyone who'd like to speak on this item? Council, nobody is participating, so we'll move on to city manager's report. Mr. Vanderpool, anything tonight?
Nothing further, Mayor, thank you.
Mr. Koszybski?
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
All right. Nothing from communications from citizens, nothing from the city manager, nothing from the city attorney. I'll open it up to the city council. City council. Who'd like to be first? Nobody took my bait. Nobody wants anything?
Mr. Mayor?
Okay, Mr. Yanis.
I would like to point out that the rain barrel's 4 minutes are up, and you should ask it to take a seat, please.
He's been
The
there longer
rain
than
barrel
4
is welcome to
minutes.
stay there as long as it wants.
Mr. Mayor, very
all I
briefly.
Mr. Radke.
Yes, I know we're having this meeting today because several of us are going to MML tomorrow. I appreciate that MML teaches a lot about how to take care of things in the city. I appreciate the residents' patience with changing the meeting day. I look forward to learning in Lansing, and that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Sarowski?
Just very briefly, Mayor, and I will be very brief. I'm just wanted to say, because it was brought up somewhat briefly, but about the rain barrel. And I did want to say that I'm very excited about these rain barrels. They are wonderful. I'm looking forward to having one in my yard. I probably will be the first one if I don't. It doesn't have the full package, so I can't really steal that one because it doesn't have all of the accoutrements, but that is going in my yard. And then the other part of the sustainability project that we're doing, they are the Go Green grants, very appropriately named. It should say Go Green, Go White grants, but I'll let it go with just Go Green. It's a great name. And I do encourage our residents to please go on our website and look for that. And we are looking forward to making sure that Sterling Heights is one of the most sustainable communities. I think that we need to maybe challenge a few. I think we should challenge Ann Arbor. They can be the Go Blue, but we'll be the Go Green.
This idea has legs, I think, Mrs. Sarowski.
I think it has very good legs.
I guess they open on May 1st, so people at home know.
Okay, thank you for pointing that out. So you don't go yet, but we have 2 weeks, a little less than, so but we're ready. And then we should still challenge Ann Arbor. I have nothing further.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Sarowski. Anyone else? If not, I will just end by saying we're back here on Tuesday for the budget hearing. Not tomorrow, a week from Tuesday. And then the following week, we're here on Monday again, Monday, May 1st. And then we're back on Tuesday, May 9th. Is that an open meeting? That's like a regular public meeting. So we're kind of zigzagging. So we'll go Tuesday, then Monday, then Tuesday. That's all I have. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Support.
Been moved and supported with no discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.